came of age in the era of Walkmans, Saturday morning cartoons, and dial up internet. You know, that thing that beeped. And now they're out here crafting universes, deep lore, convoluted timelines, and uh, traumatizing us with their morally gray heroes.
Today, we're diving into the top 10 fantasy and sci-fi authors of Generation X, my generation, the brilliant minds born between 1965 and 1980, who rewrote the genre rulebook for fantasy and sci-fi and made us rethink what epic really means.
Hi there, welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where father and son sit down and talk about fantasy books. I'm the son of that equation, Zach.
And I'm the father, Jim, and we do talk about more than fantasy books. We do
Yeah.
sci-fi, we do horror, and we do whatever other nerdy stuff we feel like talking about. But today, it's sci-fi and fantasy, and we hope you enjoy this. We hope you enjoy it so much that you'll click that like button. Just smash that thing. Come on. And subscribe if you haven't. Check out this channel. We got a lot of things for your enjoyment here. We're just sharing the love about books and stuff we like talking about. We think you'll like it too.
Now, today we're continuing our generational showcase of these sci-fi, fantasy, and sometimes horror authors. These great authors that we've truly enjoyed. This is part 2 of that series. If you missed the first part, our part on the best of the baby boomer generation, please go back and check that out. You will not regret it. We had dragons and satire and lightsabers and an alarming amount of prophetic dreaming.
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. Now, as always, our list today is purely subjective. We wrangled over this like it was a tavern brawl in a D&D session. There were dice, there were tears, and somebody maybe definitely rage quit over a misplaced ranking. Okay, no, that's not true. We love each other. We're much more cordial, but it was a lot of fun to say it that way.
Yeah. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Counting down our top 10 favorite SFF authors from Generation X.
Yes. And number 10, we get into this. We start off strong. Brent Weeks, the literary ninja behind the Night Angel trilogy and the Lightbringer series. Assassins, light-based magic, plot twists that make you scream into the void. Sign us up. Weeks mixes high-stakes fantasy with fast-paced storytelling and just enough philosophical angst to remind you that even deadly killers need therapy.
Yeah. Saying assassins really sounds better in normal conversation than wet boys.
You want wet boy. Okay. You know, the Night Angel trilogy rocked my world. I loved reading that. And I'm so wowed that it came out so fast. It's like in less than a 2-year period, 3 books dropped. And they're mind-blowingly good. Lightbringer series, I haven't read yet. You have.
It's really good. The fact that you haven't read it is the biggest reason I'm okay with Brent Weeks being at number 10 on this list. He maybe will climb higher once you have.
I see. And then, of course, the Night Angel trilogy has now gone on to extend into Night Angel Nemesis, which in theory, there'll be more books coming. But Night Angel Nemesis didn't do as well, I think, as Brent Weeks was hoping. It's a little bloated. It's a good story still. I think it deserves a reread, honestly, because I think I've judged it kind of harshly, but it wasn't what I loved about the Night Angel trilogy.
I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people loved Night Angel, loved Lightbringer, and brought expectations from those into Night Angel Nemesis, which is fair. And Night Angel Nemesis did not deliver in the way that most people wanted.
But still,
I have hopes that it will in future books.
I mean, where we left Kyler at the end of that book, we have to have another book.
Oh, yeah.
We have to. At number 9, the Lord of Grimdark himself, Joe Abercrombie. Was that your dog?
No, I'm pointing when you say it to where I have the author on my shelf behind me.
I missed it. You've been doing that all along?
Yeah.
If your idea of a bedtime story includes betrayal, blood and characters with names like the Bloody Nine. You need help. But Abercrombie is your bedtime nightmare. From the First Law trilogy to the Age of Madness, his writing is brutal, hilarious, and disturbingly insightful. Basically, therapy in book form, if your therapist used a broadsword. I don't know how much of this you've read. I know you've read the First Law trilogy. I've read all 9 books of First Law, and they get, I mean, the First Law trilogy is just where it starts. They get better and better as you move through, in my humble opinion.
So I've read the First Law trilogy. I'm excited to get to the rest. Joe Abercrombie recently released a new book,
The Devils,
that I might have to read before the others because I've heard such good things.
People are raving about it. Yeah,
they're loving it. And so I'm like, okay, I wanted to go into those other books, but maybe I go read this one first.
Yeah, and it is something totally different. It's nothing to do with First Law. He says he might come back to First Law at some point, but no, he's doing something totally different now, and he's still knocking it out of the park.
I will say, as a fun little anecdote, I did have a friend who was talking to a girl at a party. They were chatting up, and she said that this series was her favorite. She loved this. They did a book swap as potentially a thing. He came and told me, and I said, I'm sorry, if she gave you The Blade itself and said this is like her favorite book, might be a red flag.
Red flag! Red
She's
flag!
probably really cool, but also maybe run.
Because there is some disturbing content in these books. Twisted characters, but he writes them all so well. Oh my goodness. It's really on display in the 3 books that are in between the 2 trilogies. What they call the standalones, but they're not really standalone. I mean, they're all intricately tied to this world. But I really enjoy them. At number 8, we're time hopping into the twisted mind of Blake Crouch, master of multiverse mayhem and identity crises. I first heard about Blake Crouch from the Fantasy Files podcast, where Spencer was raving over the Wayward Pines series. But that's just where he was getting started. Dark matter, recursion, upgrade. Crouch writes sci-fi thrillers that leave your brain begging for a manual, but in a good way. He's the king of what if, as in, what if you changed one thing and broke reality?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Thanks, Blake. Thanks a lot.
Now, I haven't actually read any of Blake Crouch yet, but I've
heard
about a lot of these things. I haven't. The Wayward Pines trilogy is actually like 2 or 3 down my TBR. I'll be getting to it this month or next month.
I'll be excited when you get to it, and we can talk.
It really just depends on when the library has it available for me. But it's my year of sci-fi a little bit. This was an author that was on my list of I need to have some.
This is one I wanted higher on the list, but our wrangling, Zach's like, I haven't really experienced it yet. You can't put him that high. So all right, number 8. Number 7 goes to perhaps the most globally recognized name in modern fantasy, J.K. Rowling. I mean, come on. We can't ignore the cultural impact of Harry Potter. The books created an entire generation of readers. Most of you watching this came in through Harry Potter. Midnight book launches and debates about which house do you belong to. She's not without controversy. J.K. Rowling, she has her stand, and she's very prominent on social media, doubling down on the things people hate that she says.
Yeah.
But the world she created has become a cornerstone of fantasy literature. And that's a magic you can't just Expelliarmus away.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling is a great example of someone that I grew up with, and I enjoy what they write and would like them to write and not talk. I don't really like J.K. Rowling, but I do still enjoy the world of Harry Potter.
She is definitely a conservative in her values and her perspectives, and she's rich enough to not care if people don't like what she says.
That was a valid and kind way to put that.
Yeah. I noticed you said Rowling. I said Rowling. I did look it up. It is Rowling. That's what
I'll be honest. With most people, I go, I'm sorry, I'm going to try to do better. I don't think I'm going to try to do better. It's going to come out whichever way it is.
But
I've had about half a beer. It's just enough to mess with the tongue.
It's the funny thing. ROWL would be howl. So Rowling. But ROW is obviously row. Yeah, it's a tough one. But it is rolling, and we don't care. Let's move on. At number 6, we're looking to Mark Lawrence, the man who asked, what if child assassins were also poets with PTSD? From Prince of Thorns to Red Sister and the Book of the Ancestor, Lawrence delivers dark, brutal stories with heart, brains, and just a sprinkle of existential dread. He's the only guy who can make you root for someone who murders 5 people before breakfast.
Now, I don't have a spreadsheet like you do, Dad. You can't check my TBR 1,000 books out. But somehow, the authors that you included on this list that I have not read are all ones that I will be reading things within the next month.
They're that level, that quality. Yeah. What I like about Mark Lawrence, and everything I named about him, I've read all those and totally love it. But he's also more diverse than that. So he's like got the library trilogy that's coming out. I think he has the first 2 books and the third is still to come. And I haven't read those yet, but they're not grimdark. They're not like this other stuff. He's showing, I can write all kinds of fantasy and you will
diversity.
Buy it. Have you read the library trilogy?
No. Mark Lawrence, like I said,
none at all.
I haven't read yet, but I plan on it.
He is worthy. Number 5 is John Scalzi, who I'm not sure you've read at all yet.
I have, actually.
Oh, we'll talk about that more in a moment. He's the author who writes sci-fi with wit, heart, and a surprising number of sarcastic AIs. From Old Man's War to Red Shirts to the Kaiju Preservation Society, which kind of got some of us through the pandemic, Scalzi gives us page turners that make us laugh and think. He's basically the cool uncle of science fiction. I know, I've written this, but I still love it. I'm chuckling at my own phrase here. He's the one that shows up at Thanksgiving and explains wormholes with sock puppets.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Truthfully, I said, as you were starting this, that I have actually read some. I did read Red Shirts. That's one that I did read. I enjoyed it.
I've read that twice. It's so fun. Did you like it?
I enjoyed it. To me, this is an author who I'm going to enjoy standalone books, but I'm never expecting like a series that I'm really going to dive into. And so he's deserving of a spot on this list, but he's certainly not podium for me because I'm not going to keep searching and diving and going, yes, I'm eating all this up.
Yeah, and you are more a fantasy reader than a sci-fi reader, but you said this is the year of sci-fi, so you ought to check out the Old Man's War series.
Truthfully, Kaiju Preservation Society is on my list as one of the more likely ones that I will get to this year.
Fuzzy sci-fi. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I did the Audible version with it, which is narrated by Will Wheaton, and he does a good job with it, but Old Man's War is where it's at. And I think it's 5 books.
Let me be clear. This is my year of sci-fi. That doesn't mean this is my year of science. Sometimes, maybe, but I'm totally okay with it being space opera or a little Lucy on the side.
Just Old Man's War is more military sci-fi, and it's got good vibes.
Those two things did not relate to me.
Military sci-fi and good vibes doesn't work.
Not really. I'm not here for the industrial military complex.
Okay. Moving on. Magically appearing at number 4 is the word wizard that I would most like to grab a beer with, Jim Butcher, the author of the Dresden Files. He gave us Harry Dresden, a private eye who throws fireballs, fights vampires, and still pays the rent late. Add the Codex Alera, where he apparently based an entire fantasy world on Pokemon and Roman legions, like on a dare. And it was good. You've got one of the most versatile writers in the game, I believe. And I am so excited that in January we get the next book of the Dresden Files.
Is that when it's coming? Do we have a date?
January 26th, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a few months away now.
12626.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. That probably is why it's on January 26th. Yeah, 12 months is what it's called. And it's the first book of the entire series that he didn't have in mind when he plotted out the series.
There were some big things that happened in the last book before this.
Yeah.
Jim Butcher is an author who some books I've really enjoyed, some books I haven't so much, and I really got through the Dresden Files for you. But to a certain extent, when you've read 15, 16, 17 books,
you get invested a little.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how much you really did or didn't like it. You've read that many. What's one more? You gotta you gotta finish it. I do enjoy him. He's as high on this list as he is because of how much you love him, and the fact that I'm giving grace of I haven't read Codex Alera yet. It may shift me to liking him even more. On a flip token, I'm really excited actually to read, I think it's Kim Harrison's The Hollows series.
Oh yeah, that's on my TBR. Great urban fantasy.
It feels like if Harriet Dresden was a woman and we got that tone for that kind of story instead. So I'm really interested to compare the two series.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Jim Butcher, the Codex Alera, I enjoyed because Jim Butcher wrote it. It's not mind-numbingly good, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine fantasy, but I enjoyed it because Jim Butcher wrote it. I love the Dresden Files. His humor just hits for me. Good stuff.
Is it at least like top 10 series of all time for you?
Dresden Files?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's number 2.
Okay, I wasn't sure 100% where it would actually fall.
Yeah, The Wheel of Time's number 1, Dresden Files number 2, Malazan's number 3.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you had that locked down, but I should have known better. You've got a spreadsheet.
Let's move to our podium now.
Yes.
Taking the bronze medal is a bit of a cheat. Another 2-for-1 special. We had one of those in the last generation. We've got one here as well. James S.A. Corey. The pen name of writing duo Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank. They gave us The Expanse. Modern space opera that's equal parts political thriller, horror show, and existential dread wrapped in zero-G physics in a really cool and realistic way. They proved sci-fi can be thrilling, timely, and emotionally devastating, all while blowing stuff up with Epstein drives.
Yeah.
That's all he's got. Yeah.
I mean, this is one of, if not my favorite sci-fi series that I have read to date.
I went through these so fast because I didn't find it until just as the last book in the series published and just churned through them.
I started these when I was doing my jump around, and so I do a book in this series and then I do a couple books in a couple of different series, and I come back to this one, and so it was a little bit mixed. This is kind of the series that broke through that, and when I hit about book 5, I think I went, I'll just read all the rest and then get back to something else.
That's what the Dresden Files did to me. Palate cleansers between things, and by book 5, yeah, no, screw that. I'm just reading the rest of these. But I can get that with The Expanse. It is very, very consuming.
Well, it's kind of set the bar for me for what I look for in true sci-fi. Not space opera, but true sci-fi.
The sad thing about James S.A. Corey is they're done with that. So they've started a brand new series that's not getting anywhere close to the positive reviews and vibes of The Expanse. Well, and I think it's the product of they're being victim of their own success. They tried something that's very different, and everybody who loves them went to read more of something like The Expanse, which it is not. I haven't read it yet, but I will give it a chance because they're good writers. I've enjoyed the story they can tell. But people aren't digging this. Mercy of the Gods? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I believe that's what it's called. The interesting thing for me is I fell in love with The Expanse, the story in the series, not so much the author or authors in this case. It wasn't that I had any distaste for them, but I haven't really gone, I need to read the new thing they've came out with. And as people have come in and gone, it's not that good, I've gone, that's okay. I still put them on a certain level of pedestal for the sake of The Expanse. And that's how I'm going to remember them, at least as it is currently.
Let's give a small shout out to Prime Video's adaptation of The Expanse.
It's fantastic.
Started on the Sci-Fi Channel, and when they stupidly canceled it, went over to Prime Video. Yeah, it is fantastic. Only the 6 books are adapted, and they did a fine job, and they currently have no intention to do any more. And that's maybe okay, because the last 3 go kind of a different direction, maybe gets a little too tough to accurately adapt. But they did good, and they did so well that the actors who played those characters is how I now see them in my mind.
I think they're waiting a good 20 years
30.
so
30.
that way the age time jump is appropriate for the 30-year jump.
All right, so we know our bronze medal. Let's move on. Silver
Yes.
goes to Brandon Sanderson, the man who cracked the code on hard magic systems and is now single-handedly keeping Audible in business. They need his books. From Mistborn to the Stormlight Archive to the entire Cosmere, Sanderson builds intricate worlds faster than most people unload their dishwasher. And let's be honest, when he dropped 4 surprise novels in 2022, I don't know if you watched the YouTube episode where he shared this. I did. It was like, Are you kidding me? It was the literary equivalent of pulling a Gandalf and saying, "Fly, you fools," to my Kickstarter right here. And then he literally broke Kickstarter.
Yeah. No, there's a reason he's so successful. He's good. He's probably my favorite living author. And yet, I think I'm okay and agree with you giving him the silver position because there's so much out there. And I love all of it and what's interconnected and stuff, though I haven't read a lot of his non-Cosmere things.
Okay.
But for me, there is a certain level of, if it wasn't as interconnected, there are some books that kind of fall short or aren't quite as good. And he's not a perfect author, but I do love the things he's given us.
Brandon Sanderson is the Stephen King of Gen X. The volume he puts things out at, the quality that continues to hit bestseller lists, and how things are so interconnected. As you say, not everything he writes is connected with Cosmere. Some of my favorite books of his are not Cosmere books. But he definitely has this big world he's created, and he keeps dropping books that are all tied together. And that's very Stephen King. But also the fact that he's so successful and has so many books is very Stephen King.
So if he's the Stephen King of Gen X, who's better than him?
Indeed. In our top spot, the man who turned math, duct tape, and botany into edge-of-your-seat fiction, Andy Weir. The Martian. It made us all believe we could survive on Mars with potatoes and bad disco music and reutilizing our poop. Then he gave us Artemis and Project Hail Mary, soon to be an excellent movie, 2026. And we were sold. Weir is the patron saint of smart sci-fi that's actually fun. He doesn't dumb it down. He gives us hard science fiction, and we are entertained. And for that, he takes the gold.
I haven't read a crazy ton of Andy Weir, because Andy Weir hasn't written a crazy ton.
No, there's not a lot out there.
But everything Andy Weir has written has been either gold or at least like gold-plated. It at least looks like gold. If you scratch underneath, maybe it's not perfect, but man,
it's just
all hit it out of the park.
The Martian is incredible. Artemis, I honestly haven't read. It's on my TBR very high. Project Hail Mary was so fun, and I'm so excited to see this movie. Ryan Gosling starring. It looks like they're doing it well.
I read that this year, and it is one of my higher rated of the year, to the point where I have looked to Rach and been like, hey, this is coming out as a movie. I think you'll really enjoy. We should go see this. If you don't, it's okay. I'm going to go with a couple of friends. We're going to go see it anyways. But I think you'll really enjoy it. And so we were at the movies yesterday.
That's fine. I'm going with friends. See you later.
We were at the movies yesterday, and we saw a trailer for it, and she was like, oh, this is what you've been telling me about.
Wait, you saw what?
We saw movies. We saw the trailer for it in theaters yesterday.
Oh, the trailer. But what did you go see?
We had a fun little double feature date. We went and saw Superman and Fantastic Four back to back.
Whoa, you saw them both at the same time. They both sound great.
They're both really good. Weird controversial
Superman-
take for me
Superman better than Fantastic Four?
Because I'm not a huge DC person. It's a hard thing for me to say, but Superman is a little better than Fantastic Four.
That's what I'm hearing. Superman is a good restart for DC and might give them a chance, finally, to blossom. Fantastic Four is full of a lot of the Marvel tropes.
Mhm.
It's good, but it's tropey.
I do think it's the best depictions of the Fantastic Four that we have seen in live action to date.
And I will see them both when they're streaming.
Anyways, we're so off topic.
Yeah, tangents. It happens at times. But yeah, Andy Weir, the thing that's special about him and why he's number one is he is so clearly hard sci-fi, which turns a lot of people off normally, but he manages to do it and be approachable. The story is still suck you in, engaging. What he uses in Project Hail Mary, the approach to the way he tells that story is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And you just can't help but be captivated. Yeah, that's why he's number one, that he can make hard sci-fi be cool. Before we go on this episode again, I've got an honorable mention. We have to give a nod to Hugh Howey, author of Wool, Shift, and Dust, collectively known as the Silo Trilogy, and an incredible adaptation on Apple TV+. This series gave us post-apocalyptic paranoia, class warfare, and a silo so intense you'll never look at underground storage the same way. I love this work. You're not quite as sold as I recall.
Let's put it this way. If Shift and Dust were as good as Wool, Hugh Howey might have made the list. But they're not, and he didn't.
Yeah. I love his work. I enjoyed all three books, but I get your perspective there. We're pretty sure many other people would put him in their top 10, but for us, because of the issues Zach has and me understanding those issues, there's just not room. He's an elite talent for sure, not quite the top 10. And that wraps us for our top 10 SFF authors of Generation X. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to click our part 1. I mean, Gen X brought the chaos, but the boomers brought the magic in the first place, so check them out.
And also, let us know who's on your list. Did we leave someone off? Were we wrong with Andy Weir? Is Brandon Sanderson being robbed here? The Stephen King of Gen X not getting number 1?
It's a thing.
Let us know and fight for your fandoms.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next episode. Maybe the millennials?
Anyways, we'll see you then, I guess.
And we'll talk to you next time.